can you talk about how the 25 cap does factor in on this year and some of the decisions and what that means for the extensions and players you want to retain going forward that aren't necessarily being signed at the moment?
Yeah. By its very nature, the cap has to be looked at over a several-year period. One's years coming, and because we have in place players that will be being paid in future years, then we have a good handle on that. And what we have done in the past, that's a number. And what you do and in cap management is you borrow money from your available dollars in the future to use it in current years. And so most clubs, we included, have a lot of money that you've already paid the players that you have to count under the cap in future years. That shouldn't come as a surprise to you. You should have it well thought out. It's part of the job. It's not hard, and but it's got a very bright line, and so that when someone holds out, the reason that you really are trying to work things through, you're trying to do it without hitting the cap for those next years, because you know you will need that money in those future years. That's where we are, and we've had great rosters, really by any measure, but I'm very satisfied that we've had the rosters that we wanted to have over the last 3-4 years. So with that in mind, we've got to pay the fiddler for having those rosters. We very well will have players that didn't play as much in the last year that will step up, that are under contract. They might not have played because of injury, or they might not have played for other reasons, or play enough. We've had players that their biggest complaint was they didn't get enough play time. So by virtue of the moves we're making right now, it doesn't create a negative in my mind to be thinking about different players or players that we've got playing more. All of that comes to bear, and so just because you might not have a player doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to win the games.
So you mentally said you had a great roster. What's the confidence we'll have a great roster going forward in 2024? Well,
there are so many unknowns about how the players are going to perform, even if you know their names. But I know that I feel good about the rosters we've had the last 3 years. Feel good about our record. We all are disappointed that we haven't done better in the playoff last year. Now, I don't look back at the last 15, 20 years. I look at it as though somebody else might have been there. When I first came to the Cowboys, I didn't lose a lot of sleep over the players that had come and gone that Landry had done. Well, I feel the same way here. I'm interested in what's happening this year, and I'm interested in what's happening in years to come. Now, I want to look back because I want to learn lessons. I want to see if I have a chance to do it better. That's really the only impact of the results that you have. Results being you haven't gone where you want to go in the playoffs. But in all of this, the requirement to be all in, the requirement to look at every aspect of how to squeeze and max out our resources, which is our cap, that's here alive and well, and I'm all in.
Is this putting more pressure on the coaches, though, who are in the final year of their contracts or in one-year deals to get it done with developing players?
I've never been around a coach that no matter what his contract was, didn't put pressure on himself and have high expectations, and it's in their blood to want to win every drill, to want to win every practice. And so I don't worry about contracts and incentive over in the coaching ranks.
Your team could create significant cap space this year by doing some conversion of salary to signing bonus with players like Terrence Steele, Trayvon Diggs, even Dak. You haven't done that yet. Is that because of the ramifications in future cap years, including 2025, or why have those moves not been done to increase more cap space?
Well, the timing of them, as well as the amount of them, all are a part of a strategy that we were thinking about doing 2 years ago. If in fact it involves a player that was here 2 years ago, we don't make a contract with someone, but what we don't understand how we may be melling that contract into our overall salaries. So there's no surprises here. Because it's competitive, because it may involve outside, we would call it outside, but possibly snagging a free agent, doing things like that. We don't sit here and put this in on ESPN, but nobody does, and because it's competitive. But the point that I'm trying to answer and make, aside from answering your question specific, no surprises here. Knew that it was going to be challenging. It always is. But am buoyed by the team that we've got, buoyed by the fact that we've got young players that either for injury or otherwise, they've got to step up. They will step up. Some won't as much as we wanted. Some will do more. All of that I feel very good about. I feel as good as any time I've gone into an off season that I can remember.
Generally speaking,
Where are you with the Dak contract situation? I know you guys work with him with the bonus, and I guess he worked with you guys to do the bonus to create some cap room.
That's in the contract. That's
Okay.
it. That's a part of the contract.
Okay.
My point is that we worked that out when we negotiated the contract, that we could do things like that. Not taking anything away from Dak wants to do any and everything he can on and off the field to help us win. And so we are where we are. We have our contract. We're locked and loaded for this year. And we can see as we move along how we are thinking, we inclusive of everybody here, us, Dak, and we'll see what we do. I don't have anything to report today.
You talk about those younger players needing to step up. Jalen Tolbert, Sam Williams. Are those a couple of names? Who are some others that will be in the
Our linebacker from Texas, Mozzie Smith, all of those guys, some of those guys that weren't just rookies, but all of that group will play better at different degrees, but it will play better. You can count on that. Then that group contributed last year. You'll see more. I'll guarantee you'll see more contribution than you saw from that group last year. You'll see some guys that contributed last year that you'll see a bigger contribution from because we'll do more reps with them in games. That's a result of having less options because of the adjustments we've had to make with players leaving. That's not a negative.
How much is Mozzie's, the jump you're expecting Mozzie, impacted or compromised by his shoulder surgery?
You should never make a decision on a lineman, defensive lineman especially. You should never make a decision about them until you've seen their third year. So you have to see. You can make some. You can make some wrong ones too early.
Okay.
So that means there's the record shows that there's potential for vast improvement from the first year through the first couple of years. I expect that from him, really I do. He's got all the raw materials. He's got the strength. He will have the bulk. He's got all those stuff.
Was that compromised by the shoulder last year? Is that what you understand now?
I don't know that, and but all guys play with something. So he was played with it. He played through it. I don't know how much it compromised him or not. One of the things that you bring the point up is that you have to learn to play with those things. That's a part of moving from a rookie up to the seasoned pro. You learn that there's probably never a day you don't go out there with something.
Generally speaking, how much of a challenge is it to have a quarterback who is not under a rookie contract, to have soon to be the highest paid defensive player in NFL history, soon to be potentially the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history, under the same books, with dead money, just generally speaking. What about that is maybe not fully seen for people on the outside when it comes to inside working through those sorts of situations?
Yeah, without being theatrical, I'm going to drop to a knee and say thank you for the problem. It's an outstanding problem to have.
All right.
Yeah, you work to get problems like this.
Good. Everybody good?